Week 15 in the NFL kicks off in the City of Angels with a big-time matchup in the AFC West as the Los Angeles Chargers play host to the red-hot Kansas City Chiefs. Sitting at 3-4 after Week 7, the Chiefs had just a 25% chance of even making the playoffs. But they've since won 6 straight and are now the favorites to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl once again. This year's Chiefs are a bit different than in recent years past, however, with Mahomes' stats a bit down in the 2021 season. They've turned to their defense during their win streak and have held their opponents to single digits in 3 straight.
Anytime you can get late into the season and your defense starts to come alive, it always goes back to that old quote, defense wins championships.
For the Chargers, they haven't won the AFC West since 2009, but it's theirs for the taking this year. Having already beaten the Chiefs in Arrowhead in Week 3, the Chargers, down a game in the standings to Kansas City, are still in control of their own destiny in the division.
A lot of the guys are excited, and it's a great opportunity for us to play here again in our home stadium, and it's a really tough team, and it's going to be a quick turnaround, but we got to watch the film and get better and get ready for those guys.
The AFC West lead is up for grabs. Can Herbert once again outduel Mahomes, or will the Chiefs' defense keep up their torrid play? Week 15 is about to get underway.
Yeah, HQ, welcome in. I'm Eric Casillas, and what a way to start Week 15 in the NFL. How about Mahomes, Herbert, Chiefs, Chargers, first place in the division on the line. 2 hot teams. The Chiefs are rolling. The Chargers have won 2 straight, both by blowouts, and they've scored at least 37. Here we go. And if you look at the trends, last week a very, very, very square week. Really the first one all year where if you've been playing favorites and overs, you did well, because coming into last week, favorites under 45%, home teams under 45%, overs under 45%. And if you look at the notable injuries, Austin Eckler banged up with that ankle, but did practice during the week, which is a good sign for a guy ready to go. Looks like the Chargers also going to get Asante Samuel Jr. and Derwin James back into that secondary. But Rashawn Slater, their big first-round bully offensive tackle, will be out. He's protecting the blind side of Justin Herbert, but he will not be there. You see your injuries. Chris Jones, most notably for the Chiefs, he's out on the COVID list. All right, everybody in the pool for this one. Jonathan Jones, well, he actually could go to the pool. He's in L.A. right there inside the stadium where it's going to be the Chargers hosting the Chiefs. Bryant McFadden, he's in warm weather. He's in Florida. You know he's got that big smile on. And Kenny White's in Vegas. They might have a pool or two there as well. I'm sitting in cold weather. I'm the only one. I'll just be jealous here. But I'll start with you, JJ. We have had a massive amount of COVID issue-related positives, and it seems like every hour we're getting new guys. What are they saying at the stadium, and are we all set with who could possibly be ruled in and out tonight based on this list?
Yeah, the new protocol adjustments are going to have no standing on tonight's game. So Rashawn Slater, if you were hoping that the change in protocols was going to allow Rashawn Slater to play tonight, not going to happen. That is a question that I asked NFL Chief Medical Doctor Alan Sills and spoke with other NFL executives as I was driving into the stadium about an hour ago. And so, yeah, they're hoping that they're going to be able to save some of the Browns' chances, that they're going to be able to save maybe Jalen Ramsey and the Rams, other guys throughout the league who can test out of the protocol. But as far as this game tonight and the protocols that you read off, EK, earlier in the headlines, all of those accurate, where if a player has a very low viral load, and we won't get into the specifics of that, I'm not entirely sure I understand them all, but if there is a small enough viral load, that would then trigger them to be able to test negative and then a rapid test to confirm that negative, and then they could come back in. So in theory, it could be in one day that you test positive and then the next day you're negative, and then you're negative again, and you can go back. But only about 20% of the players over the past, this season actually, have been able to test out of the 10-day window. And so the NFL expects that number to rise because what they have been doing, genomic sequencing, seeing just how much viral load these guys have when it gets to day 7, day 8, day 9, and if they would be safe for themselves and safe to others to return to practice or return to games. So that's what we're going to see. But no, those new protocols that just came out today, agreed upon jointly by the NFL and NFLPA, that will have no bearing on tonight's game. Rashawn Slater is out for this game.
All right, fair enough. Now let's get Kenny White involved. Kenny, I'm going to start with you in terms of specific positions and guys, and it starts with the quarterbacks here. That's really the exciting matchup. You have Mahomes, you have Justin Herbert. You rank every player and rank them against the average player at their position. Who ranks higher right now, Mahomes or Herbert, and by how much?
Right now, Mahomes does. I have him only a point, though, better than Justin Herbert. Herbert's been amazing, putting up great stats and great numbers. And Patrick Mahomes has had a rough year. Just using this year's numbers, I would give Justin Herbert actually the heads up in that, but I can't do that. I got to go back and I know who Patrick Mahomes is and what type of quarterback he is. Guys have up and downs. It's a short season. It really is. Seems like a long season, but it's short. It's a small sample size. So if we go back a couple of years and use Mahomes' numbers from the past 3 years, yeah, he's still the better quarterback, but Justin Herbert's closing the ground.
B-Mac, if you're playing against these two guys, there are a lot of similarities, but how do you play them differently if you were playing Mahomes week 1, Herbert week 2? From the secondary perspective, how do you attack them differently?
Well, the thing about both quarterbacks, they have so many similarities. A very, very powerful arm. They don't mind taking shots. And Justin Herbert is the younger quarterback of the two, but he's the quarterback that loves to stay in the pocket. He's a true pocket quarterback. We know he has the mobility to make things happen out of the pocket, but he's a true pocket quarterback. And with that being said, if you're a defender in the Chiefs secondary, understand and know that Justin Herbert wants to make throws inside of the pocket. And when you're going against those type of quarterbacks, the intermediate route concepts are very, very important. The timing is very, very important. So you have to understand and know for you to be at your best, the pass rush has to be at their best as well to be able to disrupt some of the timing. And then when you transition to Pat Mahomes, if you're playing for the Chargers in their secondary, no, Pat Mahomes is probably he's the most deadliest when he's outside of the pocket. So no, you may have to cover a little longer. And what we used to call in Pittsburgh, you got the plaster onto the wide receivers because you're dealing with a guy that loves to get outside the pocket to make things happen. You may be called to cover a little longer than a true pocket quarterback. And when you look at some of the highlights we've seen from Pat Mahomes, you see a lot of highlights with Pat Mahomes doing what? Getting out of the pocket, buying time, and finding a way to hit Tyreek Hill down the football field for a splash-like play.
JJ, you're there. Both teams playing well right now. Chiefs have had it rolling, largely because the defense has played better. The offense is like, all right, when we play Vegas, we'll take over. Everybody else, your guys are going to have to shut them down. And also the Chargers last 2 weeks, 37+, 2 blowout wins. What's the mood around each team? Is it like pure confidence? Are the Chiefs like, hey, our defense is there, but our offense is almost going to get there? What's it, make me feel like I'm there with you.
Yeah, the Chiefs feel like they've gotten it panicked. Even when they were, 3-4 earlier in this season, they knew that they were a better team than that. And Patrick Mahomes decided to be patient with those too high looks. And, that's what Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy had been impressing upon Patrick Mahomes. Hey, the defense is going to get tired of playing those too high looks. Take what they give you, and when they slip up, when they start to scoot down, that's when you hit them over the top. And it took Patrick Mahomes a little bit of time to really work on that and trust that, but it is finally starting to happen. Meanwhile, on the defensive side, that defense is playing lights out right now, very reminiscent really of that 4-game stretch in December in 2019, where they allowed just 31 combined points in 4 games in December. In the past 4 games, they've allowed just 41 points in the last 4 games. So very impressive stuff on both sides of the football for the Chiefs. Meanwhile, for the Chargers, Brandon Staley was asked about the stakes in this game, and he said, listen, we're not worried about the stakes. We're worried about just playing this football game. And I know it's a little bit semantics, but the Chargers are very aware of what this game means, what it means for the division, what it means for their standing, both literally in the standings, but also among the NFL's elites. But what they are focused on is this game. And we talked earlier about Rashawn Slater. They're putting a lot of faith into Trey Pipkins there at left tackle. He had really struggled for a while over there. They think that he is their best first option at left tackle. If he struggles, look for Matt Filer to slide in there at left tackle. Brandon Staley said, listen, he's going to have to win on tough downs. He knows that there is going to be some difficult positions, those third and longs. He's going to have to hold up there on the blind side, something that the Chargers haven't had to worry about all season with Slater.
Kenny, will he win on those downs, or have you adjusted? I mean, I'm always fascinated how little the line moves because of injuries. It is a next man up league. Quarterbacks will move the line a little bit. What about left tackles? And this has been a rookie who's been very good. And now we got some guys that, let's be honest, unless you're a real hardcore football fan, you don't know the names coming in. What are you doing with Rashawn Slater out? Had you moved the line at all? Because the line seems to continue to be going towards the Chiefs and towards the over here.
Yeah, no, I adjusted my line, EK, but it's still not the a major move like a quarterback. But I have 1.2 points for Rashawn Slater being out tonight. But also on the opposite side, Chris Jones is out for Kansas City, and he's worth 1.5 points. So it might be just an equal trade, those two guys being out.
All right, how about defenses, Kenny? Let me follow up there, and then I'm going to get B-Mac in, and then we're going to get picking. Both defenses seem to be playing better, and they've turned the corner. Chiefs, it's been a lot more prominent and obvious. When you rank these defenses in the 1 to 32 scheme that you do, where are they coming in?
Yeah, I've got the Chiefs, the 8th best defense in the NFL right now, but if you look at the stats, they're number 30 in yards per play allowed. That's because they gave up 457 yards a game the first 5 weeks of the season. Last 7 games, 299 median yards per game. The defense is far better over the last 7 weeks. So they're a top 10 defense. San Diego's defense, I can't say the same, but they are a little trickier because they do like to give up the rushing yards between the 20s. They'll let you run on them all day. They're going to play nickel and dime defense. They don't want to allow the big play, so they do give up more yards than a lot of teams. They do get tighter in the red zone. I have them ranked the 15th best defense right now in the NFL.
B-Mac, one more before we start picking this thing. How did Kansas City do this, right? You've been in the huddle. You've been in meeting rooms. You've been on teams that have slumped on defense and then got hot and vice versa. This has not been like a slow, gradual change of getting better. They went from kind of putrid to now allowing just 10 points a game and almost being record-setting. What the heck happened?
Well, I think you have to really, tip your hat to the staff, Spagnuolo and his guys, making adjustments. And then acquiring a guy like Melvin Ingram, right, who still can play some real good football, especially against the ground and pound attack. Not to mention he's another added pass rusher that has experience in your division. So when you factor all of that into the equation, yes, the light switch turned on for the Kansas City Chiefs. And because of that and how dialed in they've been in this 6-game stretch, guys, they forced 16 turnovers. They become so opportunistic. We're seeing Tyrann Mathieu in the secondary. We're seeing Daniel Sorensen come up with huge plays. They're able to get pressure on opposing quarterbacks, and they're just doing what they're supposed to do. We're not seeing the blown coverages that we seen in the early part, that we saw in the early part of the year. They're flying around and having fun, and a lot has to do with the personnel moves. And like I said, acquiring Melvin Ingram and Spagnuolo just making some adjustments, and they bought into his system, and now it's paying off.
Well, let's see if they do it tonight. Time to pick the game. You can go side, you can go total, you can go half, but it's Kansas City in LA taking on the Chargers. Chargers at home getting 3, 54.5 now the new total. First half, 27. Team totals, Kansas City 29.5 and the Chargers 26.5. You can go anywhere you'd like. First up in Vegas, Kenny White.
Yeah, I'm amazed how high this total has really gone. I wanted to attack the total, but I'm gonna go to the side. I like the revenge factor. The Chiefs lost in week 3 at home. Big game. They know if they lose, they're in basically second place. It would be the Chargers division. Love how the defense is playing. I think the Chiefs right now are doing the right thing. They're running the football, and this is a Charger team you can run the football against. You get Patrick Mahomes into the red zone 5-6 times tonight, he's going to put up enough points to win the game. So I'm going to go Chiefs minus the 3.
Yo, Danny, I'm right there with you. When you look at what the Chiefs have been doing, especially with the defense, the last 4 games overall, they're 4-0 ATS. They've done a tremendous job in covering home or on the road. But when you look at this particular matchup between the Chargers and the Chiefs, the road team has had the advantage when it comes to ATS. When you look at the last 21 meetings between the Chiefs and the Chargers, the road team is 15-5-1. I don't know what's going on, but something tells me the road team always cover, and because of that trend, I'm leaning with the Chiefs, being able to lay 3.5 and cover.
I am with both of these guys on the Chiefs, and it is less because of trends in BMAC's world, and it is more because of what Kenny White is saying, that the revenge factor is going to play a role. I think the Chiefs are playing better football on both sides of the ball right now. And you look at what Patrick Mahomes is able to do, I think that they've unlocked Patrick Mahomes in this offense facing defenses in 2021. I think this defense is going to be there. It may be a shootout. I'm not willing to go to the total. But here's the other thing. There's going to be 2-point conversions. There's going to be some unconventional nature to this game because of Brandon Staley going for it on 4th down and going for those 2-point conversions, as we know the Chargers are apt to do. And so because of that, I think it throws some things off a little bit. This could very well come down to the last possession, but I could see this being the Chiefs being up 4-5 and the Chargers trying to get into the end zone to win the football game, ultimately failing at doing so. I have the Chiefs winning this one. I like them -3.
I'm going back to the oldie but the goodie that has really just been so good for all of us all year long, and that is the first half under of 27 points. You basically are going to have to get 4 touchdowns in the first half to beat us. And here's the thing. We heard about the idea that they're going to play that too high safety, are the Chargers, and they're going to tell Pat Mahomes early on, just take what they give you, and then we'll take shots later. Later means the second half. First half is going to be a little lower scoring. They feel each other out. You don't have a left tackle for the Chargers. They're going to get everybody accustomed. And getting everybody accustomed means slowly but surely. Slowly but surely. And that 26.5 is now 27. That's where I want it to go. As soon as it hit 27 on Caesars, I'm going under. So under 27 in the first half is the play for me. And you can go get that again at Caesars right now. Chiefs, and first half under. We can all win. Well done.